Hey everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel, and today we're looking at the N lineup at the LA Auto Show. Now this is Hyundai's N model, not the N line model. These are for the enthusiasts, and we're gonna go take a look. We've got the Kona right here, and in this video we're gonna look at the Kona, the Elantra, and the Veloster. So let's start with the Veloster N because we're familiar with that car. We've done a number of videos on our channel. We're gonna hop in here. We've got the two doors, of course, on this side, the single door on this side here. And as we hop in, we're going to sort of familiarize ourselves with it because there are a number of updates to the Kona and the Elantra over this model. So in here, very kind of race utilitarian. It's just the typical thing that we've seen before, nothing too much extra, just what we need. Regular analog gauges up here with a display screen in the middle. There's an 8-inch display in the center, which has some of the software of the 10.25-inch display, but not the 10.25-inch display. Overall, you've got the typical things here, the race mode, the drive mode, paddle shifters here. Everything is kind of as we saw. And again, if you want to see this car more, we've covered it in intense detail on our channel. So now let's jump out and go to the Kona first and show you some of the upgrades that you'll get in that car. It's more than just a better rear seat and a trunk. So let's jump in here. Overall, again, Kona look, you can see, we've all seen pictures of it on the internet, big red brake calipers. It's essentially the same idea now brought into the Kona. Roof rails are a nice touch though. You can take your stuff with you. Jumping in here, Kona seating position, so you're a little higher off the ground. One thing I like, 10.25-inch screen over here and a 10.25-inch screen over here. And I'm going to take the camera just for a quick second from Pat. As we do that, I'll try not to mess up our camera here. You can see this 10.25-inch display screen. Now this is in my mind, a significant upgrade. Some customizing abilities in here. It looks pretty cool, and I think the people buying this car are looking for some technology. So overall, similar type things. You got the N mode and the N mode here. So instead of drive modes right there, you've got the N on both sides, actually different N's, so there we go. And the NGS. Now, bear with me, I have not driven this car yet, so some of you are gonna know a little bit more about these two buttons than I do, but we'll do our best, of course. We'll have this in the future in our video bay and go over it. Over here, you've got the 10.25-inch screen, and I wanna show you, let's go back to the home button here for a second here. I want to show you some of the N mode type stuff that you have in here. This is, of course, taking advantage of that 10.25-inch display. We've got some bright lights here, so we'll see if we can pull out of that. There we go. You've got all of your N modes. So the engine sport, the custom mode here, you can see exactly how it's all set up. Whether there's 1, 2, or 3 levels for the engine is in Sport Plus. Everything's in Sport Plus right now in this car. Electronic limited slip differential, the transmission, traction control, all of that, and of course, all of your information. So the N mode takes better advantage of that 10.25-inch screen on the Kona. And again, this NGS button, the N grin shift button, is kind of a little more Ferrari-esque with the big red button, or maybe Porsche. So again, very same steering wheel, very same look in here, but now you go to the Kona. So same idea down here. This one happens to be the automatic transmission, so is the Veloster we looked at. The Elantra coming up is going to be the manual transmission. So let's jump in the back seat here because I think that's one of the reasons you're going to look at this car. I'm going to give the camera back to Pat for a second. We just got to be careful with this. There we go. All right, jumping in the back, typical Kona thing. So the Kona is not a huge SUV. I could probably move the seat a hair forward from where I was, but you do see a 6-footer sitting behind maybe a 6'1" person. You do fit back here, and I've got okay headroom. And the front seats, of course, are the nice big sport seats. The rear seats are essentially just a recovered regular Kona seat from what I can tell in my comparison here. So overall, still a driver's car, able to take a few more people. We'll just pop the trunk for a second here. Kona's got a little bit more of a practical, traditional style trunk. And you've got the ability to have a little bit of things under the floor there, just a couple inches or so there, laptops, other things like that. Some tie downs, which would be nice because you can strap things down with a nice net, and you've got that. So there's the Kona. Now let's go to the Elantra. This Elantra here, big wing on the back, probably my favorite design out of these. I think the Kona, I mean, it looks cool, but Veloster, Kona, they're almost a similar shape to those two. This one's where we take it a little different. I'm gonna get Pat to come over to the spoiler here and see if we can film. It's hard to film the black stuff, but these sharp creases in the side of the Elantra are echoed here in this little thing, and you almost see an N line to the like an N line to the way they're folded. So really hard to film that, but it's kind of a cool thing in person. The wheels look great. Let's jump in again. We're seeing the same thing. Now, one thing, we of course are from Canada. In Canada, you're probably gonna have the buttons on the doors. This doesn't have the buttons on the doors. It's probably got the Apple, or sort of the Android Auto, or the Android system where you can Android key there. Whereas we'll probably have the buttons on the doors. That's what we expect. Jumping in here, some ambient lighting down here. Just on the dash, you can see it's the N blue. And again, same thing again, but because the Elantra dash has everything on the sort of the same plane, 10.25 inch screen here, 10.25 inch screen here. We're going to go back over to the N mode again. Same display that we just showed you in the previous car. Same steering wheel. So you sit lower in this car than the Kona. It feels more like a sports car. Excellent sport seats. And again, the manual transmission with the 6-speed, you're losing that N grin shift button here, but you have your rev matching button down here now instead of what it used to be up here. So rev matching button is down here in this little red button there. And so if you want manual transmission or the dual clutch, wet clutch, automatic transmission, either way, you get your choice in these ones. And again, I'm not 100% sure what's coming to Canada. I don't think well, certainly I haven't seen the specs yet, but we'll see what comes out with that. So taking a look again, we'll just come to the front side here. So as we take a look, in my eyes, the way I see it, you still got the Veloster, which is probably the truest original form, but there's some technology that's starting to date there compared to the other twos. The Kona is just kind of a blown up Veloster, similar roof line, similar look. And then you have the choice of the Elantra, which in my opinion is probably the sports one out of them all. Before we finish here, let me just show you the back seat here as well. Probably the best rear seat is in the Elantra as well. I moved that seat to where I need it, and knee room is immense back here. Same thing here, recovered seats in the back here, but basically typical Elantra stuff. Some suede type look here, dark headliners in both these cars, or all these cars. But look, again, more space here. And then the trunk in the Elantra, if we can pop that up here, we'll do that here. Again, sedans, people forget that sedans have huge trunks. So if, again, we do our teddy bear measurement, you will be able to fit another teddy bear in there. You do have some extra bracing in this vehicle. And again, these vehicles are built from the ground up to be performance vehicles. So real difference here from the regular Elantra. They're not just like new tires and an engine. From the ground up, they're built to be performance vehicles. That is the Hyundai N model group. We will have more of these videos. If you're interested in these cars, we'll have them on our channel. We'll have them in detail. We'll go through them and we'll cover them in more detail than anybody else. So thanks everybody for watching. That's it from the LA Auto Show. Make sure you subscribe if you're interested in these cars. Hit the like button. If you have comments, go ahead and make your comments and ask your questions. We'll do our best to answer them.